Hey there, everybody. Welcome to GHL's tutorial videos. Today we're going to talk about demographics and how to add patients, merging patient client files, and just maneuvering through the demographics window. So the patient demographic window is located in the icon or the button on the main toolbar that says Patients. So we're going to pull that up, and by default, the first person that gets pulled up every time when you click the Patients button is whoever's registered as the alphabetically first person in the EMR, and that's going by last name. So the reason we have Andy Aardvark in here as our default is to protect any kind of real patient files from popping up in this demographic window by default. So it's a good practice in your clinic. If you don't have a fake A person registered in there, it might be a good idea to do so, just to protect the identity of somebody who might not want their information to be the first one set every time that a clinician opens up the demographics page. Now, once we got the demographic window open, what do we see? Well, it's essentially a lot of information that you'll find in a phone book, such as the first name, last name, maybe a little bit more with regards to the birthday, sex. You got your mailing address, your home address, any kind of contact information with that patient so that you can communicate when you need to. On the right-hand side here, we have patient number. Now, this is a number that's generated automatically when you create a new file or a new chart for somebody in the system. So this is the EMR's way of identifying who the patient is. This is their given number through PS Suites. 1207 is Andy Aardvark. Now, chart number may be referencing a physical file or a physical medical record within the clinic that is being translated over to a digital copy. So, for example, if Andy Aardvark were a real person in the clinic, odds are if they had an ongoing medical record prior to being involved on PS Suites, they're going to have a chart number already associated to their name. So that's where that can go right there. And registry number is essentially where their band number goes. What is their First Nations Indigenous registry number? Now, it asks for information as well as health card number and your version codes, the expiry dates, phone numbers, if they have referring doctors, any diagnoses in here, next of kin, and comments. You know, they have their preferred pharmacy. If they identify which pharmacy they go to on a regular basis, we can look in our address book and select from our list which pharmacy makes sense or which pharmacy that they prefer to get their medication from. And primary providers, other providers, those are workers in the clinic that are, you know, the primary care coordinators, the primary care providers rather for this person. And it could potentially be helpful to keep up with the primary provider and other providers. It's just so if you need to do a little search to say how many patients are with provider A, how many patients have provider B as a primary provider. You can look at things like that if you want. Now, to edit any of these fields, all you have to do is double click on one of the sections and it should become editable, and everything else will be able to be edited. Now, a helpful tool with this comments piece is that you're able to communicate from provider to provider to communicate any kind of special needs or accommodations that a patient might have for an appointment. So, for example, if I type in needs wheelchair access, and I click this appointment alert button. Now, every time I go and make an appointment with this character or with this patient in the calendar, there's going to be a little pop-up that appears that says, this patient needs wheelchair access. And this is going to happen for every time this patient is booked for some sort of appointment. And on the right-hand side, you have additional information, and this can be anything you want to put in there relating to the patient or how to get in contact with them. I do not recommend putting any personal health information in this area, as anybody with a PS Suites user account has full access to the demographics page. And when I'm done my edits, I just click save. So how do we find somebody else's demographics page that we want to assess? Well, if we go to find up in the top left corner and you go to find again, our find window appears. Now, if you're into hotkeys, if you use your computer and press Control F for a PC or Command F for a Mac, you'll get the same result. Now take notice that there's a number of different options that we have in order to run our find or our search for our patient. The default is patient name / number. So this allows you to search up a patient with their patient ID number, or by searching their last name, or if you know their full name, their last name followed by a comma, and then their first name. And if I press enter, our patient appears. Now going back, if I do a search just on someone's last name and press enter or find first match, what's going to come up is the alphabetical first person that shares that last name. So in this case, Angelica PSS was the first one that came up. Now if I want to see a number of patients with this last name PSS, instead of pressing find first match or enter, I'm going to click show list. What that offers me is an entire list of registered patients with that last name in the EMR. So once I found the patient I'm looking for, I'll double click his name, and here he appears in our demographic window. Going back to our find field, we're able to search by name, age, phone number, any information that we have. We can even do an advanced search if we can't see any of the options listed here that we are familiar with. We can even do an advanced search if we don't like the options that are displayed by default, and create our own complex search criteria based on any of these options. A helpful tip, especially with dealing with First Nations communities, you can use the phonetic name option to type in how you think the name sounds, and when you do show list, it should bring up the correct spelling of the last name you were looking to find. Now I can't really show you how this works in the demonstration, but you can go ahead and try that in your office. There's also a number of different things we can do just from the demographic page. If I go under view, it gives me a number of options that I have with regards to viewing the patient. I can view the patient's family if it's been recorded in the EMR. I can view some appointments that they may have scheduled in the future, and view patient records. Now this will take you automatically into the patient's chart straight from this window. So if I do view records, it's going to pull up his chart so I can then hop into my recording and any kind of charting I need to do following the service. If I go to print one, it gives me an option to print a number of different labels for the patient or any kind of statements or receipts that this patient may have with association to their service. And at the top as well, there's the HCV option, which is to verify their health number. And if you're connected to the database, it'll verify the health card number for you. So now, what if our patient doesn't appear in our find? Well, that means we're going to have to start from scratch and create a brand new chart for our patient. So to start a new chart, I go to edit in the top left corner and add record. What this is going to do is it's going to pull up a blank brand new template that I can fill out to initiate the start of my patient's brand new chart. Now the bare minimum that you need in order to begin a new chart is the surname, first name, birth date, and sex of the patient. So for demonstration's sake, I'm going to do PSS George. Same birthday. So what happened there is it gave me a little warning saying, hey, this person has the same birthday as this patient. Exit that, and sex either F or M. And once I fill that information out, I'm going to press save, and the chart number should be generated automatically. And if we look at the patient number, 1269 was automatically generated once we've saved the file. Now, I have the option to, again, go straight to the patient's record, and this should be a brand new blank record for George PSS, which it is. Now, when I'm doing a patient find, and I notice that two charts may belong to the same person, we'll say, for example, Neil Young and Neil Young. We have two Neil Youngs in the system. Is there a possibility they could be the same person? Well, we've done our research and it turns out, yeah, Neil Young is the same person, but they've got two charts. So if I open up the primary chart, now this is the primary one that we're going to keep as our primary demographics page in our primary chart. This is just with regards to the demographic window, which one is going to be the dominant one. And I go to edit, utilities, and merge patients, all I got to do is put in the patient number of the duplicate chart. So if I look over here and I look at Neil Young, his chart number is 858. Now it's saying, are you sure you want to merge Neil PSS with Neil PSS? You have the option do not merge, or you can merge. So if we click merge patients, the 854 and the 858 aren't going to be in existence anymore. It's going to merge them together to create a brand new patient number. Now both of those charts are going to have personal health information in them that's going to merge together to create one chart. And when we're done, the patients have been merged into patient 1270. So this is the new patient number. Now if I do my search and type in 1270, Neil PSS appears. And from there, I'm able to go to view patient records, and again, begin my charting with my new patient. And inside is all the combined patient information. Thanks again for watching. If you need any help or a little bit of pointers based on the information you just saw, give us a call at our GHL helpline at 1-800-985-5713. Or you can call Telus Health and their EMR support at 1-800-265-8175. Giiwednong and have a great day.